It was about 4 in the morning one Saturday, and I was driving to work down the interstate. I was in the middle lane, moving pretty quickly because I was already running a bit late to work that morning. When I noticed a car in my left mirror catching up to me quickly, I was almost alarmed. I had to already be going like 75 to 80 miles per hour, so they had to be going anywhere from 90 to 100 miles per hour. The car quickly caught up to me. It was a gray Honda Accord coupe. I took a look into the car, curious to see who was behind the wheel. Even though it was still dark out, I could see the driver looking back at me as he passed. Then I noticed someone in the backseat too. It was a young woman who appeared to be banging on the back window. Initially, I didn't understand. I assumed it was a girl messing with me or whatever. It's usually not a person's first instinct to assume something sinister is going on. But when I saw the driver apparently push her down under the window and the car swerve at the same time, then I knew something was wrong. That woman was trying to get someone's attention and call for help. I started to speed up a little bit and got behind them so I could keep up. I could see the driver continuously reach into the back of the car with a swinging motion. He looked to be hitting her. I could see her arms flailing in the back of the car. I was in complete shock. I was actually witnessing a kidnapping right in front of me. As I was behind them, matching their speed of about 95 miles per hour, I took out my phone and called 911. As I was on the phone, the car in front of me's brake lights lit up, and he started to slow down to a gradual stop. He definitely noticed that I saw what was going on and thought that I was following him. As much as I wanted to save that woman's life, I didn't know if the driver was armed with a gun or not, so I pulled around him and floored it. I wanted to keep behind them though, so I pulled off the next exit, but didn't go entirely up the exit ramp. I waited for the car to pass by down the highway. Then I drove over the grass and back onto the highway and began to floor it to catch up to the car, all while still talking to 911, telling them where we were, what kind of car they were in, and how fast we were going. I was easily going 90 again to catch up to them. As I caught up to the car again, going at an insane speed, he noticed me again. Even before I got too close, he started to brake in front of me again. I tried to go around him, but he cut me off. I had to stop. He got out from his car and started running towards my car with something in his hand. In a panic, I threw the car in reverse until he stopped chasing me. Then I put it back in drive before he could get back in his car and drove quickly past him. The 911 operator told me there was a state trooper not far ahead from our location and to just keep driving until I passed him. The man in the car behind me continued to follow me, both of us still going at an insane 90+ umph. I felt the weight of 1,000,000 pounds release off my shoulders when the flashing blue and red lights appeared in my rearview mirror behind the car chasing me. With me in front of him and the cop behind him, he didn't have much maneuverability, and he quickly pulled over onto the grass. I pulled over in front of him, but left at least 2 cars worth of space between us because I still didn't know how this was about to go down. Luckily, the cop with his gun drawn got the guy out of the car with his hands up. By then, I got out and watched the whole thing. He was on the ground in cuffs now, laying on his stomach. Another police car showed up, and another cop entered the scene. The woman in the back of the car was let out. She was badly beaten, in tears, and extremely ecstatic to be saved. She kept praising me for saving her life. The driver of the car was her ex-boyfriend, who had come to her house, and when she refused to talk to him, he attacked her, grabbed her, and threw her in the back of his car, which had child locks on. It's scary to think where he might have been taking her or what he was planning to do to her if I or anybody else didn't witness her screaming for help in the back of the car. I made a trip to visit Boston to support a family member who was running the Boston Marathon. I was driving from Chicago to Massachusetts and had to take Route 20, possibly the longest highway in the United States. I don't much like flying, so I decided to start driving around 3 p.m. after work. My GPS was telling me it would be a 15-hour drive, so knowing how I drove, it would probably be 14 hours. My ETA was telling me 6 a.m., but I was expecting 5 a.m. if I didn't stop. I'm the type who doesn't like to make many stops on long car rides. I like to just bang out the whole ride in one go. Most of Route 20 is open land, and there isn't a whole lot of traffic. I'd say 10 hours in, around 1 a.m., I was basically one of the only cars on the highway. I had music blasting to keep me awake. I was comparatively almost done. Not really, but I was optimistic. I was starting to get slightly tired though. Even after the 2 cups of coffee I drank, I didn't want to pull off for more coffee though, so I tanked through it. It would make finally collapsing into a bed when I'd get there all the more rewarding. One moment, I was the only car in sight. Then the next thing I knew, there were headlights in my rearview mirror. I was in the left lane, and the car was kind of on my ass, so I switched to the right lane. He sped up a bit, passed by me, and for some reason, slowed to match my speed, just as my front bumper aligned with his rear bumper. Then, he just matched my speed for the longest time. I started to speed up to pass him. As soon as I got in front of him, he turned into my lane behind me so close it almost looked like he was going to clip my car. I had no choice but to speed up even more to get him off my ass. I wasn't looking to be the victim of a road rage incident, not at this hour, especially. As I sped up, so did he. I switched into the left lane, and so did he. Now, I knew something was wrong. It couldn't be an unmarked cop with some old ratty pickup truck. The truck started to flash its lights behind me. I didn't slow down. I was honestly afraid, because I had never experienced anything on the road like this. I kept driving, stepping on the gas just a bit to increase my speed 5 to 10 miles per hour, hoping to pass a cop or any other cars for that matter. But I couldn't see another set of taillights as far as the eye could see, just the very seldom cars zooming past on the other side of the highway. The pickup truck behind me then switched lanes and floored it. I heard the aggressive roar of his truck's engine passing me. He cut in front of me. Then he started to brake. I tried to swerve around him, but he kept blocking me. I was forced to stomp on the brakes too. I started to honk because it's all I could do. As we slowed, the man in front of me put on his hazards and started waving his arm out the window, signaling for me to pull to the side of the road. I obviously didn't listen. I took the chance to quickly pull around him as he started pulling onto the grass, and then I floored it. My sit-in could easily escape his pickup truck, but I hit 100, and he was still not far behind me. I got off the highway at the first exit. I stopped at the red light at the end of the exit ramp, not expecting him to still be behind me, but there he was. The pickup truck's headlights pulled up behind me, and the truck pulled up to the red light next to me. I looked to my left at the truck, and the window rolled down. Inside were 3 people, I'd assume men, wearing vendetta masks. They all looked at me, trying to scare me, I'm sure, but it worked. I blew the red light onto the main road. And finally, there were at least other cars around. The pickup truck finally stopped following me. At a certain point, I was scared I was going to be killed. It was more than just a road rage incident. I didn't get the plate number. In fact, I don't even remember seeing a plate on that truck. All I know is it was some 90s black pickup truck. After that, I parked in a Walmart parking lot and fell asleep. I woke up around 8 and finished the drive. I told my family about the incident and warned everybody to be careful when driving late at night.